This episode is brought to you by Pete's. Few things start your day better than a good coffee. That's why Pete's hand roast their coffee from a specific selection of high-quality beans. And they don't just put those beans into anyone's hands. Pete's trains their roasters for 10,000 hours so they can master the roast that gives you the most. Pete's Coffee. Coffee for coffee people. Find Pete's online or at your local retailer.
Hey, what is going on? It's the ManFUzed Podcast. Your host, Kay Lee, my co-host, Ben H. So today on the ManFUzed Podcast, we talk about the Democratic presidential contender Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the assassination scare he suffered. And Ben H. has an interesting observation. Why doesn't he have protective detail if he is a Democratic presidential contender? Biden's not wanting to come off that shit, I'll tell you that. We'll also close out this week's episode with another page from the Daily Stoic. So what happened?
RFK Jr., the political candidate for, Bobby Kennedy's son, John F. Kennedy's nephew, running for president, Democrat, had a potential assassination attempt when he was in California to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, when an armed man claimed to be part of his security provided by event organizers. Other members of the security detail did not recognize the man, who was heavily armed and in protective gear, so they detained him until police arrived on the scene. Following that, the unnamed man was arrested. He was there in the security detail with two loaded pistols, had a U.S. Marshal badge on, and he's not a U.S. Marshal, and snuck into the security detail, told them that he was security provided by the event organizer.
Well, why do you look like you're a tactical guy? Like you're like not even fitting the bill.
Yeah, they just didn't recognize who he was. RFK Jr. is the first presidential candidate in history to whom the White House has denied Secret Service protection.
I thought they don't start protecting you until you win. Until you level up.
It's a percentage, so he has what he needs. He has well more than he needs. I mean, he's the runner-up to Biden in the Democratic Party right now. It's Biden or him. I mean, most
thought you said that he was going to be on the Republican side.
No, he's running Democrat. Democrats have changed. Let's put it that way.
I thought you said many episodes back that if there was a ticket with Trump and Kennedy, that you'd be all for it.
I have suggested that would be a way to bring the country together in a way that we've never seen. I think it'd be unbelievable.
That's never happened, has it?
No.
A Republican president with a Democratic vice president? Or let's just say
a presidential ticket with a Republican and a Democrat on it.
I'd never even thought about it, to be honest with you. That's never happened.
It'd be the most powerful, I think, presidential campaign ever. Whether he won the election or he didn't win the election, Trump still garnered more presidential votes in 2020 than anyone ever has before that, other than Joe Biden, who got more in that election. Okay?
Because everyone hated Trump.
My point is that he still garnered a great deal of support. He's going to do that again, because all the people that voted for him before, I think, will vote for him again. And then you add an RFK Jr., they'd probably get 100 million votes.
Was Kennedy there on site at that moment?
Yeah, he was there. And the security detail's like, hey, what's going on with this guy? They detained him.
Obviously, they looked into his social. Did he post, I'm going to go kill Kennedy that day?
Nothing else has come out about it. But hopefully he'll get Secret Service protection. It's odd to me. The White House grants all presidential candidates, I think, that are beyond 6%.
You think Biden's threatened by him. And you like Kennedy as a Democrat.
I do.
I'm asking.
Yeah, very much.
Is he more Republican-leaning Democrat?
I mean, he's probably closer to what you would consider a Republican today. He represents a contingency of the Democrat Party that is not represented by the messaging of the current Democrat Party, if that makes sense. There's people that consider themselves to be what's called Kennedy Democrats, whereas John F. Kennedy was a Democrat. Liberal used to mean free. A liberal or progressive, the party used to be freedom loving, right? It used to be more of a liberating party, right? It was liberal used to mean more freedom. Now it means communism, apparently.
And devil worshiping.
Yeah, and just all kinds of weird shit. You know, it's just a really weird thing that now the Conservative Party, which was historically, like, say, back when JFK was around, the Conservative Party, bunch of stiffs. You know what I mean?
Stiff dicks.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of old conservative. Now it's kind of flipped a little bit. I like RFK. I like everything that he has to say. I think he'd be a great president, and I think if he runs on the Democratic ticket, which I don't think he will, because I don't think that the DNC will give him the nomination. But if he did, I think he would have a very good chance of winning against Trump.
Why won't the DNC give him the nomination? They don't like what he stands for?
Yeah, he is against what they stand for. I mean, he has really come out against the Democratic Party as a Democrat. He's saying, look, I'm a Democrat, but I am not with what these folks are doing. I'm against it, and here's why. And everybody's going, yeah.
And when you say he's a Democrat, what values or beliefs or economic views make him on the Democrat side?
I think that a lot of his views are more, again, I think more what we would consider conservative now. He's anti-establishment. The Democrat Party is pro-establishment.
They want control.
He's anti-big pharma. The Democrat agenda is for big pharma. He's anti-mandates and lockdowns. The Democrat Party is for mandates and lockdowns. He's very anti most of the things that the Democrat Party stands for at this moment in time. But the Kennedy family, they've always been Democrats. The area of the country where he's from, deep Irish Kennedy Democrats. You know, a lot of the people who were immigrants, the Italians and the Irish and the people that came over in the early 1900s, like to New York and stuff, you know, they were all Democrat Party people. It was very liberal. It was very pro-immigration and those kinds of things. Well, it means something different now because you look back at those times, those people immigrated here and they were welcome and they were processed and they were welcomed into the country. Whereas now you have a Democrat Party who has left our borders open and people are just coming across in droves. They're not being processed. They're not coming through. So he's anti-open border. The Democrat Party is for an open border. They're like, what's the difference? Why does it matter? Just let them come over. It's all good. It's all love.
Come on over for dinner.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a very dangerous game that he's playing. The guy's jacked, too. Have you seen him working out? Guy's freaking shredded.
Is he?
Yeah. And he pumps. He works out like every day. They got him on, they got videos of him doing push-ups and bench pressing and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's a stud, dude.
He's really showing his skills. But he is running. Well, we're glad he didn't get assassinated.
100%.
And that just, you know, there's no different, as I said in previous episodes of this week, when looking at the headlines of the 1934 newspaper articles.
Yes.
On my sound panels back here. It might be a different version, but it's the same shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's a rerun, sort of. You know, different character. You know, but essentially, it's the same shit going on in the world, and it's just a different time.
Has been for a long time.
Yeah, ever since humans were occupying shit.
Yeah.
Have you seen that TikTok? It's pretty funny. Of these girlfriends going around asking their boyfriends or husbands how many times a week they think about the Roman Empire.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Okay, so there was this trend that, does my boyfriend or husband actually spend any time in a week thinking about the Roman Empire?
Right.
And so it had these girls walking around just laying this question onto their spouses or significant other. To their shock and disbelief, most guys admitted at some point in a week's time of thinking about the Roman Empire in some way, shape, or form. And
for sure.
The girls are dumbfounded. Like, why? Why would you think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
I mean, because they were one of the most powerful, cutting edge at that time.
Right.
How many things are influenced today? This book which I am going to close out with.
Yes.
Right here. The Daily Stoic.
Right.
Quotes so many snippets of wisdom that have come from the Roman Empire. And we're going to close it out like this from Marcus Aurelius. Meditations 3.6.1. And who's Marcus Aurelius? Wasn't he the leader of the Roman Empire?
He was the emperor from 161 to 180 AD, and he was a Stoic philosopher.
Let's close out with this. Indeed, he says, if you find anything in human life better than justice, truth, self-control, courage, in short, anything better than the sufficiency of your own mind, which keeps you acting according to the demands of true reason and accepting what fate gives you outside of your own power of choice, I tell you, if you can see anything better than this, turn it to heart and soul and take full advantage of this greater good you found. We've all chased things we thought would matter. At some point, we all thought that money would be the answer, that success was the highest prize, that the undying love of a beautiful person would finally make us feel warm inside. What do we find when we actually attain these sacred objects? Not that they are empty or meaningless, only those who have never had them think that. But what we find is that they are not enough.
Right.
Money creates problems. Climbing one mountain exposes another higher peak. There is never enough love. There is something better out there, real virtue. It's its own reward. Virtue is the one good thing that reveals itself to be more than we expect and something that one cannot have in degrees. We simply have it or we don't. And that is why virtue, made up as it is of justice, honesty, discipline, and courage, is the only thing actually worth striving for. Thank you, the Roman Empire. Thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. Join the show. Hit us up, manfused.com or 770-744-5227. We'll talk to you soon.
Be virtuous.
Be the Roman Empire. Hey, thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. You know you can join the show by hitting us up at 770-744-5227 or at manfused.com.
Foo Media.